First, giving honor to God, praise to God, who is the light of my life and the Lord of all the worlds. To Pastor Johnson, Pastor Bailey, to the family of Julia, Carson, my family now, to the many dignitaries that have come from near and far, and to those who are just friends of Julia that are gathered here on this celebration. There's not much that I can add, considering the many beautiful things that have been said about Julia, Congresswoman Carson. But I would just offer a couple of thoughts. I met Julia in the mid-'80s when there was a law that I felt needed to be changed. And at that time, Julia was kind of like a benevolent godmother. So if you wanted something fixed or if you wanted something done, you went to Julia. So I expressed my concern, and they said, go see Julia. And sure enough, the law got changed. A few years later, I decided I'd like to try public service, try to look at elective life, try to be an elected official. So I sought out Julia. And I didn't say what kind of office I wanted to run for, but just that I wanted to be a public servant. I wanted to serve. I wanted to be an elected official like Julia and like some of the people I saw around her. A few years later, I was invited to her home and introduced to people as a candidate for judge. I would have been a candidate for dog catcher. Whatever she said, that's what I was going to go for. But she said I was a candidate for judge, and I stand before you as a judge today. But as I came to know Julia Carson as a friend, and then later as part of the family, I came to see that Julia was also a way that God was speaking not only to me, but to us through her life. I came to learn, or was reminded a few days ago, that early in Julia's career, she had a speech impediment. In other words, she stuttered. Now, by the time I met her, there was no, you understood exactly what Julia was saying. There was no mistake in any of that. But it seemed to me what God was saying, that if you decide to be a servant and speak for the voiceless, God will remove any impediment from your speech so that everybody understands you without any loss whatsoever. In this season where we celebrate the life of one who came from humble beginnings, Julia, likewise, came from humble beginnings. She didn't have a lot of money in the beginning. But God is saying that if you speak out and uplift the plight of the veterans, if you look out for the troops, if you try to lift up the life of someone like Rosa Parks, in any election campaign that you're in, you'll never be short of funds. You'll always have the resources you need to do the things that need to be done for those people that you're speaking out for. Julia didn't boast a lot of degrees, even though she had an honorary degree from Martin University, which she was very proud of. But when it came time to getting things done, she was never outsmarted, And whenever she sat down with you, you always left knowing that she was a little smarter than you were in that situation. So my prayer, as Pastor Johnson so well stated, Julia does not need our prayers at this moment because she's run her last race and she's in a better place. But my prayer is for those who feel marginalized because they may not have enough money, or they may not have the education that they wish that they had, or they may have an impediment based upon any shortcoming or addiction. Lift up the cause of the poor. Lift up the cause of the veterans, the troops, the homeless, those who are in need of health care. Lift up the causes that Julia lifted up, and God will provide that shortcoming that you may have. That is what her life has come to mean to me, that God will make up any differences that you may lack if you lift up the causes that she championed. So my prayer is for those who feel marginalized to join the battlefield and lift up the causes that Julia championed, and he will make up any shortcoming you may have. God bless.